Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Superhero Initiative. With the Super Mario Bros. Movie right around the corner, let's take a look back at the rich history of the character, starting with his early days with the Donkey Kong game and Nintendo, all the way to his upcoming movie this Wednesday. Every character has their origins, and Mario starts with Yoshi's Island. Although released in 1995, a decade after Super Mario Bros. And nearly 15 years after Donkey Kong, it's the only place we can really start at. The evil Kamek attacks a stork that is carrying baby brothers Mario and Luigi to the Mushroom Kingdom and their parents. Kamek is successful in kidnapping Luigi, but Mario falls down to the ground where he is saved by the friendly dinosaur Yoshi. Mario works with Yoshi and his dinosaur friends to rescue Luigi from Bowser, and just like every Mario game to date, Yoshi's Island is a platform game with levels that get increasingly more difficult. Players control Yoshi or any other dinosaur of their choosing, and they have to keep Baby Mario on their back in order to stay alive. If Yoshi gets hit, Baby Mario flies off of Yoshi's back, and when a timer gets down to 0, if Yoshi hasn't secured Baby Mario again, then he loses a life. Yoshi can also lose lives if he comes across pits, lava, thorns, or spikes. Internationally, Yoshi's Island sold over 4 million units, with 1.8 million in Japan alone, and thus was a commercial success. Now let's backtrack a bit to 1981, when Mario got his big entrance in the classic arcade game Donkey Kong. Developed by Nintendo, this game was created in order to rival Pac-Man, and to mark Nintendo's arrival into the North America market. The motive in this game is simple: jump on platforms and climb ladders, all to save Pauline from the giant gorilla Donkey Kong. Along the way, a player collects points for leaping over objects and destroying them, collecting items, and completing stages in the time of a bonus counter, which is decreasing. Players start off with 3 lives, and when they reach 7,000 points, they receive a bonus life. However, if the player, which is portrayed by none other than Mario himself, touches Donkey Kong or any other object that isn't a collectible, except the ground of course, falls off a platform, or lets the bonus counter reach 0, the player loses a life. When the player loses all of their lives, the game is over. Each level has 4 boards, where the goal of each board is to reach Pauline while avoiding Donkey Kong's attacks. Each board is progressively harder than the last, and even though this game was simple and lacked by today's standards, it was a critical success for Nintendo in 1981. See, at the time of releasing Donkey Kong, Nintendo was experiencing some financial troubles. The game sold out its initial stockpile of 2,000 units, and by October of 1981, Nintendo was selling around 4,000 Donkey Kong games per month. By June of 1982, Nintendo sold 60,000 units in the United States alone and earned $180 million from it. In total, by the end of 1982, Donkey Kong had amassed over $280 million, which in today's money is equivalent to nearly $873 million. However, this was just the arcade units of the game. Nintendo's handheld version of the game, released in 1982, sold 8 million units. The version of Donkey Kong for the Atari 2600, also released in 1982, selling 4 million units in just that year alone, making it one of the best-selling Atari games of all time. In later years, different versions of the original game would continue to be sold on different platforms, and by 2015, the game was estimated to have earned over $4.4 billion in revenue. This game was significant for Nintendo by introducing the company to the Western market, and the UK-based computer and video games magazine called Donkey Kong the most momentous release of 1981, introducing 3 important names to the global video game industry: Nintendo, Shigeru Miyamoto, and Mario. And as fate would have it, Nintendo and Mario were just getting started. Because in 1983, Nintendo developed Mario Bros., originally as a spin-off of Donkey Kong, but is now a part of the Mario franchise that we all know and love. The game gave us the 2 classic Italian plumbers, Mario and Luigi, as they investigate sewers underneath New York City after reports of strange creatures. Just like Donkey Kong, the objective and gameplay are simple. The objective of the game is to defeat all the enemies in each phase, which are just like the boards in Donkey Kong. The gameplay is just as simple, involving the ability only to run and to jump. Players gain points by defeating enemies and can earn more points by playing a bonus round. In order to defeat enemies, players must hit the platform the enemy is on directly beneath them, which flips the enemy on their back. However, if the player lets too much time pass after defeating said enemy, the enemy will flip itself back over and increase its speed. The game also introduced some features that are now a staple in the Mario franchise, including bonus coins and turtles. The initial success of Mario Bros. Wasn't as monumental as Donkey Kong, only selling 2,000 arcades in the United States by July of 1983. But you have to remember, Donkey Kong was a huge game and the first for Nintendo of this kind. Even so, Mario Bros. Went on to become one of the most successful arcade games in American arcade history. NES, or Nintendo Entertainment System, went on to sell 2.3 million game cartridges worldwide, and Atari sold 1.6 million, in the process making Mario Bros. The most successful game of 1983. In Japan alone, over 1.6 million copies of the game were sold. Again, computer and video games gave Mario Bros. Positive reviews, saying that the game was incredibly good fun. In 1985, Nintendo released the sequel to Mario Bros. With Super Mario Bros. And the beginning of the Super Mario franchise. The game introduced a multiplayer mode where players can control either Mario or his beloved brother, Luigi. In the game, Mario and Luigi travel across the Mushroom Kingdom in order to rescue Princess Toadstool from Bowser. Just like every other Mario game to date, Super Mario Bros. Is a platform game with multiple levels. Players can earn coins or other special items like mushrooms. In order to defeat most enemies, Mario jumps on top of them, but some special enemies, like those with spikes on their top, must be defeated in a different way. The game has 8 worlds, each of which has 4 stages. In the final stage of each world, Mario must fight Bowser in order to access the next world. However, there's a twist. In the first 7 worlds, it's a fake Bowser, and only the 8th world contains the real Bowser. Just as always, Super Mario Bros. Was a massive success, with the original game selling over 40 million copies, of which 29 million were sold in North America. Subsequent iterations of Super Mario Bros. Were made, and the total sales, including these iterations, totaled over 58 million units. In 1997, Nintendo released their first 3D game, Super Mario 64, which combined the traditional gameplay of Super Mario Bros. With an open-world game and 3D visuals. For those of you who don't know what an open-world game is, it's basically when players can approach objectives freely, without having to follow a set path. The game begins when Princess Peach invites Mario to her castle. However, when Mario arrives at the castle, he discovers that Bowser has taken over and taken the princess and her servants captive. Bowser also hides 120 Power Stars in different paintings around the castle that are guarded by his minions. In order to face off against Bowser, Mario has to find at least 70 of these Power Stars, which breaks the curse of endless stairs to Bowser's hiding place. When Mario finds a painting, he has to complete a course, which contains 7 Power Stars. In order to complete some of the stars, Mario has to complete a certain task along with the course. There are also hidden mini courses, which could provide more Power Stars. If Mario finds all 120 Power Stars, then Yoshi will give the player 100 extra lives and a better triple jump. Once Mario defeats Bowser at the end, Princess Peach is released and the game is over. Super Mario 64 received amazing success. Even when the game was only 50% complete, GamePro magazine commented on how the prototype was, quote, a blast. Many other critics praised the game's gameplay and graphics, commenting on how they were clean yet simple. As of 2022, Super Mario 64 sold nearly 23 million units. The game won Game of the Year and is hailed as one of the greatest games of all time. In 2006, Nintendo released New Super Mario Bros., which was a platform game which again featured Mario fighting against Bowser to save Princess Peach. Mario can use several power-ups on his journey and travels through 8 worlds and over 80 levels. New Super Mario Bros. Stays loyal to Super Mario and features both 2D and 3D elements. The game features Mario, Luigi, and 2 Toads as playable characters, all with their unique abilities. The main objective of the game is to navigate through a series of levels filled with obstacles and enemies, collecting coins, power-ups, and defeating bosses at the end of each world. The power-ups in the game include the classic Super Mushroom, which allows Mario to grow in size, and the Fire Flower, which gives him the ability to shoot fireballs at enemies. There's also the Starman, which gives the player temporary invincibility, and the Mega Mushroom, which turns Mario into a giant and allows him to destroy everything in his path. The game also introduces several new power-ups, including the Blue Koopa Shell, which allows the player to slide on their belly and knock out enemies, and the Mini Mushroom, which shrinks the player down to a tiny size, enabling them to access secret areas and move through small gaps. New Super Mario Bros. Consists of a total of 8 worlds, each consisting of several levels with different themes such as grasslands, deserts, snow, and underwater. The levels range in difficulty from relatively easy to extremely challenging, with hidden areas, secret paths, and plenty of surprises along the way. The game also introduces multiplayer mode, where up to 4 players can compete against each other in various mini-games such as racing, collecting coins, and battling bosses. In Japan, New Super Mario Bros. Sold 480,000 copies on its first day alone, and over 900,000 in the first week. In the United States, over 1 million copies were sold in its first 12 weeks alone, and worldwide sales have increased to 30.8 million units by 2016, the most ever sold in a Nintendo game. In 2017, Nintendo released Super Mario Odyssey, where Mario once again has to save Princess Peach from Bowser's forced marriage with her. Mario has to travel to various kingdoms across the globe to collect power moons and rebuild his airship, the Odyssey. Super Mario Odyssey revolves around exploration, with Mario traveling to various kingdoms, each with their own unique environments, inhabitants, and challenges. Mario is equipped with a sentient hat named Cappy, which he can throw at enemies and objects to capture and take control of them, allowing him to use their unique abilities to solve puzzles and navigate through levels. The game introduces a range of new gameplay mechanics, such as the capture system, which allows Mario to become different objects, creatures, and even people, including a T-Rex, a Goomba, and a musician. Mario can also perform new moves such as the hat toss, the hat jump, and the hat throw and bounce. Super Mario Odyssey features a total of 17 different kingdoms, each with their own unique challenges and collectibles. In addition to the main story, the game includes various side quests, mini-games, and challenges, such as collecting purple coins, racing against other characters, and battling bosses. Super Mario Odyssey received, quote, universal acclaim, and is ranked by Metacritic as the 3rd highest ranked game of all time. In just 3 days, the game had sold over 2 million copies, 500,000 of which came from Japan. 1.1 million copies were sold in the United States in just 5 days. By December 2017, the game had sold over 9 million copies worldwide. By 2022, the game had sold 23 million copies. Super Mario Odyssey also won Best Action Game, Best Console Game, and Best Family Game of 2017. All in all, Super Mario was a massive success, with every version of the game selling, in total, a massive 368 million copies across all the platforms it was available on. In 1998, a small company by the name of HAL Laboratory developed Super Smash Bros., and in 1999 the game was released on the Nintendo 64 and included several characters from Super Mario, Donkey Kong, Yoshi, and Luigi, along with characters from other Nintendo franchises. The game allowed up to 4 players in versus mode or single player in classic mode against a predetermined opponent. The goal of the game was different from other fighting games at the time. Players had to knock opposing players off of a stage. When a player gets knocked off, they can use jump moves to try to get back onto the stage, and different characters have different jumping abilities to help them return to play. Players can also use weapons to aid them, and they can use power-ups. In versus mode, there are 2 styles of play. The first is time, where whichever player has the most knockoffs at the end of a timer wins, and the second is stock, where each player has a set amount of lives, and when their lives run out, they're eliminated from play. Super Smash Bros. Was overall a success, selling 2 million copies in Japan and 2.9 million in the United States as of 2008, and have sold 5.55 million units in total. Over the years, there have been multiple iterations of the game, amassing a total sales of 69.8 million copies. The most recent game, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, was released in 2018, and as of December 2022, sold over 30 million copies. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate also won Best Fighting Game of 2018 and all of the Japanese Game Awards. By the way, if you're enjoying this video, then please consider subscribing to the Superhero Initiative, as it would really mean a lot. Thank you, and now back to the video. And finally, we have the Mario Kart franchise, which was first released with Super Mario Kart back in 1992. The game plays just like it sounds. Players compete in go-kart races and can collect power-ups to use against other players. Super Mario Kart, which was released in 1992, features single-player and multiplayer modes. The gameplay is simple in both modes. Be first in a race around a track and use power-ups to either help yourself or hurt others. In single-player mode, the player races against 7 computer-controlled opponents in 2 modes, Grand Prix or Time Trial. In Grand Prix, there are 3 cups, and upon winning the 3rd cup, a 4th special cup is unlocked. the racer with the highest number of points after each race wins. In time trial, the racer with the fastest time wins. In multiplayer, along with Grand Prix, there's also match race and battle mode. Match race is when two players go head to head with two opponents, and in battle mode, two players go head to head just like match race, this time in a dedicated battle mode course. Super Mario Kart sold 8.8 million copies worldwide and became the 4th best-selling game on the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. Nintendo also went on to make different versions of the game for different platforms. In 1996, Mario Kart 64 released on Nintendo 64. In 2001, Mario Kart Super Circuit released on Game Boy Advance. In 2003, Mario Kart Double Dash released on Nintendo GameCube. In 2005, Mario Kart DS released on Nintendo DS. In 2008, Mario Kart Wii released on the Wii. In 2011, Mario Kart 7 released on Nintendo 3DS. In 2014, Mario Kart 8 released on Wii U. In 2017, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe released on Nintendo Switch. In 2019, Mario Kart Tour released on mobile platforms. And in 2020, Mario Kart Live Home Circuit released on Nintendo Switch. In total, as of the end of 2022, the Mario Kart franchise has sold over 173 million units, with the pack being led by Mario Kart 8 Deluxe at 52 million, Mario Kart Wii at 37.4 million, and Mario Kart DS at 23.6 million. And now, in 2023, all of our eyes are on the Super Mario Bros. Movie, which will most likely be released by the time this video is up. In that movie, Mario, along with the help from Princess Peach and Toad, goes on a journey to rescue his brother Luigi and face off against Bowser to stop him from conquering the world. If you enjoyed this video, then please subscribe to the Superhero Initiative, as it really means a lot. Thank you for watching, and we'll catch you guys in the next video.